Welcome back to Naruto Shippuden Anime Review Part 9. This one discussing the second half of the Itachi Pursuit arc. The Itachi Pursuit arc, well, this one covering episodes 121 to 166. The arc is covered in the manga, chapters 343 to 367. Yes, an arc that is roughly 25 chapters was adapted for just 12 episodes. Which that kind of makes sense. What happens in these episodes? Well, I kind of accidentally watched 122 before I watched 121. 122 is simply this. Team Hibiki goes to visit Granny Cat. Yes, making her first appearance in the series. One of 3 times she's appeared over the course of the entire series. Yeah, she actually appears again later on, a couple more times after this. Well, she does. She actually appears one more time. Her granddaughter appears actually twice. She appears in another episode where she's sleeping, and another time where it says something actually is still going on in the present day, where she beats Kiba in the final arc of the anime, which appears just one episode. Yep. And the reason why they're there? Get supplies and clothing. Well, Jogo, of course, doesn't get a shirt because apparently all their shirts are too big for him. What's the matter? You don't have a 2 or 3X? Nope, just put a curtain on him. He's like, no problem. Yeah, he wears a freaking curtain as a shirt. Because they couldn't have anything his size for some reason. I don't know why. And he couldn't sport a pair of shoes. Who knows why. Yep. And then, of course, they go on and search for Itachi. They all split up, and then, of course, well, Deidara, of course, is informed. Of course, the Akatsuki, well, Pain informs the rest of the Akatsuki, the one who's still alive, that Orochimaru has been killed. Despite the fact he's no longer part of the Akatsuki, but this is big info that they have to know. And Deidara decides, instead of basically selling up they do show that Itachi and Kinemaro sealed, or were basically captured the Jirajiki for the four-tail, well, it's basically Son Goku. And his host is Roshi. Yes, believe it or not, these 2 characters are in fact named after the characters from Dragon Ball Z. They don't say the character's name until much later, but yeah, this is Roshi, this old man is Roshi, who has hosted this particular thing for 50 years. And of course you have Son Goku, the 4-tailed ape, who looks like basically it seems as though Kishimoto, who apparently still has, who basically created this character, he's basically based upon the Ozaru from Dragon Ball Z, except Ozaru basically has got, its fur is black. This one's orange. They don't show it here, but yes, that's what the thing looks like. My guess is the reason why it's colored like that in order to avoid a copyright infringement from, well, I don't think Akira Toriyama minds the fact the character is based upon appearance based upon Ozaru. I don't think he minds that. I think Para basically lucked out the fact they weren't sued by Toei over apparently a character who's clearly has a similar appearance but different fur color. And at least Roshi looks nothing like Roshi from Dragon Ball Z. He's named after him, yes, but he is not based upon it off. One thing, the guy is not a pervert. I would say the character probably closest to Roshi is probably Jiraiya. But Jiraiya is more tame and he's a bit younger than Roshi is. Roshi is like over 100 years old, while Jiraiya is in his 50s. So they transport him back, and Deidara decides to go after Sasuke. He finds Sasuke pretty quickly. And then when they have their battle, I'm like, okay, this part of the anime is not really talked about very much, because people discuss basically what happened during the Pain arc, where this is one really bad episode, animation-wise, that has the worst animation in the whole series. And yet people forget that the same animation style was used for these set of episodes. Basically, 3 episodes that, oh my gosh, I think it was the same animators who basically later on did this. Yeah, this looks bad, but not as bad as that. Yeah, and of course, Deidara throws everything at Sasuke. He also costs, now I kind of forgot this, Sasuke goes second state one more time. I kind of forgot he did this. Because, as I said before, it's been 3 years since I watched this series. So, I kind of forgot he did this. So, one of his hand wings gets destroyed. So, in order for him to fly, he uses some snakes to make a substitute wing. Yeah, how in the world this thing is able to destroy part of Sasuke is because of his special claymation stuff. And this clay, Data battles Sasuke for 3 episodes. Yep, which eventually leads to Data unleashing his final art. Basically, he takes off his shirt after basically using up all the rest of his. Well, he has much chakra left, but he does have a little bit of clay left after blowing almost everything at Sasuke. And Sasuke pointed everything the fact that his clay is actually Earth Jutsu. Okay? And then he easily defeats him by. Well, actually, Data was the one who basically killed himself. He basically rips off his shirt to show he's got. Because he's shown to have mouths on his hands. Everything that's gross, he's got a mouth on his chest. Yeah, a mouth on his chest. They proceeds to take some clay and put it on his chest. Which that proceeds, he eats it, and of course, that causes him to self-destruct. Apparently, destroying stuff in a 10-kilometer radius. It's mostly, from what I can tell, a last resort. And, well, Data was dead. And he stays dead. For pretty much the rest of the series until he's briefly brought back in the Fourth Ninja War and the Reanimation Jutsu. But yeah, the man is dead. And yeah, he's gone. Toby, he's seen here being a goofball. There's more about him later. And meanwhile, though, Naruto convinces Tsunade that we need to find Itachi in order to get Sasuke. So, Tsunade forms a team to go after him. The team is made up of basically Team 7 and Team 8. And of course, well, they go out, they go find Itachi, bring him to custody in order to get Sasuke back. And in order to track him down, they split the teams. And, with the exception of Kiba, Kakashi, and the team Naruto has, everybody gets 2 ninja hounds apiece. And of course, Sakura, one of hers is Biscuit. Yeah, a guy who was seen in the previous arc of the series. In, not the Kakashi guy that he was seeing in Three-Tailed Turtle. And of course, Pakun's with Kakashi. Naruto gets Big Bull. He's actually the biggest of all dogs. His team is made up of the Big Bull, himself, Hinata, and Yamato. By the way, in case you're curious though, Hinata does do a lot over the course of this arc and in the Battle of Brothers. She does almost virtually nothing. Yeah, that's Hinata for you, how he was written at this point. And they search for Sasuke. Eventually, I think Biscuit is able to come across a scent of Sasuke's, which tracks into a town. Eventually has, just by sheer coincidence, while Sakura is walking this town, she just happened to pass by Karin. Oh yeah, she just happened to pass by her just by sheer coincidence. They don't see each other for some reason, but yet they pass by each other. Next time we two encounter each other is not into the Kage Summit. Yeah, that's not for quite some time later. That's next time we encounter each other. So, Naruto, of course, well, thanks to Sasuke after he has survived this battle with Deidara, how did he survive? Teleportation. Yep, apparently Sezuku, he's one of the brothers that Swordsman had missed. He apparently knew about something like this happening, so basically took a scroll and used a summoning jutsu to summon Orochimaru Snake Mandara. I believe that's the name of the creature. And, well, the creature was used as a shield for Sasuke. Sasuke survived this by giving some bruising. So he spends like a couple days at the inn they stay at. And of course, while Shuju and Karin still fight, because they constantly fight, Jugo eventually finds out there's actually several hideouts of the Akatsuki, and then Karin figures out they're all getting supplies that the Hidden Leaf are after them. So, but I should point out that something interesting does happen. Naruto, well, basically when they were splitting up, Naruto runs into Itachi. Yep, this is the second time he's run into him. And this is actually him, not some guy substituting for him. This is the actual person. So you can kind of think of this as the second official time he's run into Itachi. First time since the Search for Tsunade arc. Yeah, that was the last time that Itachi's run into him. Because I don't count what happened in the Kazekage Pursuit arc. There's a good reason for that, because now was not actually Itachi. It was somebody using, well, this is Pain's unknown jutsu, where they're able to basically deal with it. Now, we do see a three-tailed turtle one more time in this episodes, yes, where they put him right, they put the host of the four-tailed ape next to him, and they do the sealing process. I'm thinking like three. Oh yeah, three tails. Yeah, because they were sealed a two-tailed cat, which was a beautiful woman. By the way, that woman stays dead, with the exception of reanimation jutsu later on. Yep. Yeah, and then of course they don't find Sasuke. Sasuke, of course, goes to search the highest Akatsuki. And then the arc has two very interesting endings. Both of whom kind of help set up the very next arc of the series. First, you have Jiraiya comes back, where he's found where the leader of the Akatsuki is, the Hidden Rain Village, a village that's very secretive and keeps track of anybody who's not part of the village, their movements, how long they stay in the village, and why they're there. So he figures though, and of course takes Nadia out for a drink. And they talk for a while. Of course, he convinces her to send him on the mission. And of course, she makes a bet with him that if he loses, he'll die. I kind of remember the fact that in the sub, apparently there was another part of this bet where if Jiraiya came back, he would spend the night with Tsunade. But that part probably didn't make the dub for some reason. I'm not sure why. So he goes off to the Hidden Rain Village to find Pain. And speaking of Pain, we see him in person. Yep. The actual... Oh, before I get this, there's a flashback for Datara. Yeah, we first meet Itachi for the first time. Where they show when we first met him, of course, he's offered to join the Akatsuki because his talent is useful. And he's like, you've heard of my talent. Interesting. And of course, he does join the Akatsuki thanks to nearly killing himself while battling Itachi. And one thing I've got to point out about Itachi, he has sort of an authority. He has basically the way he speaks. It almost seems like he's in charge, and he speaks very calmly. That's the kind of personality he's got. Maybe because also he's from the head family of the Uchiha clan. That's distinctly possible. But in the case of Pain, we see him and Conan. Yeah, we see her first time in person for the first time. And then you see, like, they speak to, oh yeah, saying, what should we do, leader? Yeah, the like Pain is the recognized leader. There's somebody who's higher above him. And he talks for a bit, and then puts on an outfit. He walks out, and it's Toby. Yes. This is a mystery that's not solved for quite some time after this. Yeah, this is also the first time we see Toby speaking. We hear Toby in different voice. Yeah, who this is, I'm not going to spoil who this is because they don't spoil this till later on in the series. Because Toby is a mystery. Even to the Akatsuki. Of course, at one point they thought he died, but he survived. And of course, well, Pain prepares, basically, because he probably suspects that Jiraiya is coming to visit him. Yep. And not much else to say about these episodes. They're good. Really good. Though we're dealing with Jiraiya next. But that'll come later on. Okay, so that's episode review. I have roughly 2 more videos due today. Next one is going to be a review, not next meeting one, but the next video I'm going to do, but not right in a second, be a review of the newest episodes. Yes, episodes for Usagi-chan wants to hang out. And is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Yes, I'll do a review for that. No Fire Force this week, surprisingly. No Fire Force. Probably take a week off. It's possible, to say the least. Yep. But see you next video. Bye.